Preseason game number 2 is in the books for Washington, and we are bringing you all the highlights and post-game reaction from Kansas City. And after making his second appearance as a member of the Burgundy and Gold, we assess how Carson Wentz and the offense are coming along and where they need to go before Week 1. We send Logan Paulsen and Santana Moss inside the film room to highlight Cam Sims' impressive touchdown against KC. And with one preseason game to go, we take a look at our training camp checklist to find out what still needs to be done before the season opener. It all starts right now on Command Center. We start with some big news as the team has activated tight end Logan Thomas from the physically unable to perform list. The former Virginia Tech Hokie suffered a torn ACL against the Las Vegas Raiders in Week 13 of last season. Since joining Washington in 2020, Thomas has recorded 90 receptions for 866 yards and 9 touchdowns in 22 appearances. And welcome on into Command Center. Julie Donaldson here with Logan and Santana. Some really good news, which we're now under the understanding that he should be ready to go for Week 1, which is big for this offense.
I mean, that's huge for this offense, especially given the tight end injury situation, right? It's nice to get a guy back and a guy as talented as Logan Thomas. You know, I'm really excited to see what his shape and he's in, because we know it's a process, right?
Definitely know he has to take some baby steps, but it's great to see him out there, and I'm just looking for him to just continue to progress to that day 1. Don't need to see much from him right now.
So you talk about day 1. How long do you think it will take, Santana, for him to be kind of a full participant in the game?
Yeah, who knows? I mean, I'm pretty sure they have a radar of where they want him to be at, you know, or leading up to that game. But I think, you know, when it comes to a guy coming off an injury like that, he wants to be, you know, sure that he's confident with that late before he gets out there doing too much.
Does it become a pitch count, you think?
I mean, I think so, even in practice. I think they've been very, very communicative with Logan, the training staff I'm talking about now, and about kind of gauging where he's at and how he's feeling. So I think that process will continue, and if he feels good, I'm sure they'll give him more opportunity.
Look, we keep talking how Carson Wentz loves throwing to his tight ends, and he has not had the opportunity to get out there. Is that something, Logan, that takes like a little bit of like chemistry and timing as well, or is it easier with a tight end to kind of be like, all right, there's my big target to throw to?
I mean, I think it is. I think timing is the most important thing within this offense, but I do think Logan, having played quarterback before, is going to be very, very helpful to that. I think just in terms of building that communication.
Yeah, chemistry is key, but I'm pretty sure it won't take long.
He always says, too, because he did play quarterback, he understands what the quarterback is wanting from him as well, and that does kind of help. So excited to have Logan Thomas off the physically unable to perform list. He wasn't out there, though, last week, but let's get to who was. Here is the game tape from Saturday. Well, Carson Wentz and the Commanders on the road against one of the best teams in football, the Kansas City Chiefs. And well, guys, this would be a theme, unfortunately. Third down, Patrick Mahomes finds Justin Watson for a big gain, Logan.
Yeah, love the pressure there, but again, Mahomes doing Mahomes things makes an outstanding throw-out catch.
Yeah, same drive, Mahomes connects with Jody Fortson for the score. Chiefs up 7-0, Santana.
Coverage can't get no better. Great ball placement.
Yeah, it's Mahomes, like he said. He knows how to do it. Hoping to see a lot of this in the regular season, though, when hooking up with Terry McLaurin for the first down, Santana.
Oh, big play Terry, you know, all day.
Yes, of course, Terry needs to get in there. And then Chiefs' second possession, they find pay dirt again. Same duo, though. Mahomes, Stu Forts, and tight coverage from Cam Curl. Doesn't matter. 14-0 KC, Logan.
And you see why the rush lanes are so important on that touchdown specifically. Patrick Mahomes able to step up, find some space, get to a guy really late in the down. That's really hard in the coverage unit there.
All right, let's go on to late in the first half now. Taylor Heineke takes over. He finds Antonio Gibson in space for the big gain. Maybe something we'll see a lot more of out of AG in the regular season.
Definitely, this is
great
something
to see
that he can
though.
do.
Great to see
I'm
that.
happy to see him do that. Thrive in what he can do best.
Yeah, I mean, it was Brian Robinson that got the start at running back, but they still found ways to use AG in the game. And look, that receiver can catch the ball. Now, same drive, 2 plays after taking a big hit. Cam Sims comes up big with this 9-yard touchdown reception. Heineke threading the needle, Santana.
Great eyes by Heineke, great ball placement, and great catch by 8-9.
Having flashbacks there, I'm sure, for
man. You know, I was cheering for him.
Yeah, and he had a big hit just before that, but it was so good to see him healthy in the game. Yeah, celebrating. Second half we go. A guy who could see more action with Chase Young still out is Shaka Tony. Logan here gets the sack to force a punt.
Unfortunately, it looks like he's going to IR, which is too bad, but a guy with great potential, great pass rush ability, and you saw a flash of there on a former Washington football player, Jaden Christensen.
Yeah, That sucks.
All right, fourth quarter, 17-7 score now. Sam Howell in the game. Big completion to Eli Wolf with a nice little afternoon. Very thin at tight end position, Logan.
Yeah, again, a tough guy going to IR also, so that's too bad to see. But a guy who did well for himself, blocking and catching the football. Thought he did a great job, Tanner.
Don't like to hear all these IRs.
I know, it's tough, man.
Do not at all. Same drive here, and Howell this time to Alex Erickson. That's been a nice connection the first half, the last couple of preseason games, Santana.
Man, when you look at Erickson, he's like one of those Jags, just a guy, but he makes play after play.
Yeah, shows up a little bit. It's nice to see that from him.
Trying to make the roster later in the first drive is Jarrett Patterson punching it in from 2 yards out. I kind of thought he had it in before this one, but doesn't matter. He scores. Commanders cut it to 17-14.
See you, JP.
He does well in these short yardage situations despite being a small guy. I love to see him showing up here.
He's a pounder. He's getting lost.
Again, trying to make the roster himself as well. That's what the preseason is for. But the comeback effort, it falls short when Howell's picked off by Chris Lamons, Logan.
Yeah, it looked like a little bit of miscommunication there between him and the wide receiver. Those things happen when you're working with new guys. Again, just part of Sam Howell's development, growing his lumps.
All right, well, Commanders, they dropped this one to the Chiefs by the final of 24-14. Head coach Ron Rivera says there's positives, but still things they need to work on.
I thought there were some good things. There's a lot of positive things that we're going to build on. Really pleased with some of the things that we did on both sides of the ball. Big disappointment, obviously, is the third down, especially with the first bunch, more so than anything else. We get them into good situations. We get a couple of third and longs, and we lose our rush discipline. And with this quarterback, you cannot give him time to find people downfield, and that's what happened more than anything else. Ask our guys to stay with him. That's not going to work. So we've got to be more disciplined. We got to understand our responsibility of staying in our pass rush lanes, not giving him an opportunity to escape the pocket and extend the play.
24-14 is the final from Saturday, but let's take a look at how the team has performed in their first two games of the preseason so far. And well, the biggest number that jumps out is the team's performance on third down. The Commanders are converting on a rate of 45%, but on defense, they're allowing their opponents to convert 60% of their third downs. The second preseason game is typically that dress rehearsal for the game. You have the first team defense out there going up against Pat Mahomes. And while you can say it's Pat Mahomes, he does those sort of things, it also is like, okay, well, how good do you really want to be? Because he was able to convert on every single third down that they had out there, Santana.
You want to see those guys to be a little more tougher. I mean, me and Logan was talking about this earlier. They have to find a way to finish. Regardless of who's at the quarterback, you want to see that now in the preseason. I still give them a lot of credit because you saw those guys getting back there, but you got a Houdini back there in the backfield in Pat Mahomes that just finds a way every time to get free and get that guy who's wide open.
And I also think it shows you just how important marrying that rush with that coverage is. We've talked about that before on the show, but the coverage I thought actually held up pretty good. Just a little bit too long, letting him hold the football. And again, when you have a guy like Mahomes who has that escapability, who has that elusiveness in the pocket, that pressure needs to be really dialed in.
No doubt.
And that's something that in the booth, even London Fletcher was saying, he didn't think that they were getting enough pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah.
And you knew that Mahomes has the ability to get out and run as well. What did you think, though? Sometimes they say it's first and second down. That is the issue that gets to the third. Was that a concern in this game, though, like it was in the first one?
I mean, I really thought the offensive staff for Kansas City called an excellent game. They really knew when to take shots. If it was second and short, they took a shot, but they were still in a third and manageable situation. I think that just shows great game management by that staff. And again, they execute on first down, but with a guy like Mahomes, he makes plays. I think that's the biggest differentiator between him and other guys, right? He allows the offense, he elevates the whole offense. That's always exciting to see.
I think it's about playing together. Something that stood out to me, what Cole Holcomb said. He said you can't have rush, you can't have a pass rush without coverage, and you can't have coverage without a pass rush. So those guys still trying to, form that nucleus or that, that playing off each other so they can go out there and be more efficient. And I think it's something that we're going to see more of. They're going to probably get that, nip the bud when it comes to some of that stuff that we have seen now. But, they're working on it, work in progress.
Well, it is Pat Mahomes, but still, I mean, that's why he gets $500 million, $500 million when you're able to do some of that stuff as well. Let's get to the starting offense. Carson Wentz was out there for a little bit. Now, they've only found the end zone once so far in the preseason. What do you make of their performance so far, Logan?
I think the guy who sticks out to me is probably Brian Robinson and what he's been able to do for this offense. The patchwork offensive line, I thought that group did great, but he also just kind of elevates the group with his vision and his ability to find the right hole and set blocks up. And I think it just helps the offense stay on rhythm and stay on schedule. It's going to be a really nice piece for them moving forward.
Yeah, he's definitely giving us that energy that we need from our offense. I think one of the most important things that I've been harping on for years is you got to have a decent run game, and then everything else opens up. And when you have a guy like Carson, who we know who can fling the ball around and sling it up and down the field, you want to make sure that that position is solid. And I think Brian Robinson brings us just that.
They like what he's able to do. Look, he comes in being a running back from Alabama and proven that that is his natural position and being able to kind of move the pile. You saw Antonio Gibson, maybe a little bit of a change in how they use him. What did you make of trying to take advantage of his strengths in this?
I mean, I love that they did that. I mean, that's what I was hoping for. When you have a guy with his skill set who's such a great space player, like we've talked about, get him returning kicks, find ways to get him the ball in space, and that's what they did, and it was really nice to see that. Now, it'll be really interesting to see if that happens when McKissick comes back in the game and how they kind of balance all these skill sets, but you have a very talented running back room. Let's see those guys make plays.
A lot of options on offense for Scott Turner to decide to work with. I'm really excited to see when we get the full playbook what exactly they do. Coming up here in the show, we're going to talk a little bit more about this. Logan and Tana are going to go into the film room to break down Washington's second quarter touchdown from Taylor Heineke to Cam Sims. And we have a new show featuring legendary DC comedian Donnell Rawlings. You might recognize him from The Wire or The Chappelle Show, but find out what he's doing with our alumni next.
Third and 7 at the 9. Let's see if we can get a clutch play out of Heineke and company. Snap to him. Steps up, throws to the end zone. Finds Cam Sims. Touchdown! Touchdown, Washington!
So glad to see Cam Sims back out there after taking that big hit, being able to celebrate the TD.
That's a beautiful route, beautiful throw by Taylor Heineke. Threading the needle. What a catch. What a throw by Taylor Heineke.
You had an outstanding throw to Cam Sims there in the end zone that really only Cam was going to be able to bring that down. Tell me about that connection, what you saw on that drive.
Yeah, me and Cam have had that connection since the Tampa game in the playoffs 2 years ago. I think I threw him the ball 9 times that game and he caught 8 of them, and we've always had that connection. I feel very comfortable throwing to him. He's a big body, he's got a long range, and he can catch the ball. So, I saw that play, I saw the safety flow over, and I knew there was going to be a hole there for Cam to get open. So I just, put my trust in him, and he made the play.
And a ball that Taylor Heineke gives that only you can come down with it. So what did you see on that play?
I can't remember what coverage in, but it was like the corner. I knew he was going to that out route that Jahan was running. So I knew I had the guy that was pressed up over me, man to man. So I knew when I got over the top, it was mine.
Seems like no matter the circumstance, a guy like Cam Sims is always going to prove that he deserves to be a part of the conversation. That's the thing about training camp, is when the work that you do on the practice field translates into game days, and it translates into a touchdown in Kansas City. Now, to break down that play, let's go into the film room with Logan and Santana.
Julie, thanks so much. All right, now let's take a deeper dive into this Cam Sims touchdown here. And so let's start off by saying what the defense is doing here, right? They're bluffing a pressure with these linebackers up inside, and then they're playing a cover 3 structure behind. That means everyone's got a third of the defense here. Offensively, what they're trying to do is run kind of this, what Kyle Shanahan used to call like a Joe concept, where you show Morrison this guy options the middle linebacker and then runs vertical. You were just telling me you don't love this versus single high safety. Why is that?
Definitely want to see 2 safeties so you can get hit in that sweet spot. I want to get a chance to get a touchdown on this play. So, and the only way I could do that is by having those 2 deep safeties so they can go and spread it, and I can hit right here in the center, because I'm going to give that linebacker something. I'm going to give him something real nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you want to option the linebacker. You want to make sure the linebacker doesn't have any help. But in this look, he does have help, right? So I think Taylor, being a smart guy, understands that they've got help there, right? So if you go to the end zone here, let's take a look at Cam Sims' touchdown real quick, because it's an excellent throw, an excellent catch. Cam Sims down here at the bottom. Love this throw, love this catch, love the awareness to get the feet down, all those things you like to see. But Taylor knows where he wants to go with the concept. He knows this jerk concept is good versus middle field open. Obviously it's closed. There's someone right in the middle of the field. Watch his eyes. He says, I'm going to look at the safety, and then I'm going to work my field of vision this way. And number 6 says, I'm going to get greedy, right?
Yeah, he rocked the baby. Gave it to him. Go ahead. You want this?
Hey,
push you to sleep.
This guy pops right over here. Taylor knows what's up, and then the amount of trust he has. Because watch his helmet, watch the stripe. Watch how he immediately flips over. He doesn't even really need to see it. He trusts that Cam's going to win, and that's what good quarterbacks do, right?
I was going to say the same thing. One of the things you want to see from a quarterback like Taylor, being that he has he's been here long enough, you want to know that he knows pre-snap read what I have and know what his guys their assignment is, so I can just trust them to be in that spot, and I'm gonna throw the ball up to them.
And absolutely. And what do you like about Cam Sims right here? I love the outside release, and you like some other stuff about it too.
Great outside release, knowing his coverage was man. He knew that I had a guy that all he had to do is just bend around him a little bit, so he can have enough room for Taylor to put that ball right on him.
And just look what Taylor's eyes do here. Look at this void here, right? Yeah. And all Cam had to do was win that. And again, this guy's a little in between because this might be a bust by number 2. Yeah. But again, love that. Excellent job by Taylor. Excellent job by Cam. But also the big uglies need some credit too, right? Mm-hmm. Here they're showing a pressure look, right? They've got these linebackers up like they're going to blitz. And what these guys have to do before they get into the slide, so slide this way, right, with the offensive line, man side here, is they have to check, right? Because you want to block the guys closest to the football. This guy being one, this guy being one. If you watch their helmets, they check first, and then they get into their pass protection, which is so hard to do. Mm-hmm. So props to those guys for getting it done. Everyone says Cam, Taylor do a great job, but really to have a play like this, everybody's got to be on the same page, right?
No doubt.
And that's what's fantastic about it. Love the completion, love what they're doing. Really exciting to see this kind of performance in the preseason.
Good stuff as always. Now, after originally joining Washington as an undrafted free agent in 2018, fifth-year wide receiver Cam Sims continues to prove to be a factor on offense for Washington. In his first 4 seasons, the Alabama alum has recorded over 700 yards on 49 receptions with 3 career touchdowns. Now, as the franchise enters its 90th season, we continue to try to find ways to celebrate our alums and get some of the good stories and memories out of them. And sometimes that means laughs as well. But to tell the stories and the jokes that go along with them, well, we invited a DC comedian and a fan of the team, Donnell Rawlings, to join us. Take a listen.
If you had a bad play or something, you didn't want to look that person in the eyes because you knew they was about to dog you out or have a joke on you.
Well, I don't know if it was in our day. I don't know early on, but later on in my career here, Sterling Palmer was the guy.
Sterling Palmer. He was funny.
Sterling and Scott Galbraith he came from Dallas.
Okay.
Scotty had freckles, and Sterling said he looked like he wiped his face with a mosquito rag.
Damn.
It was like that type of stuff all the day, every day. I think that team had a little bit of everything.
Everybody knows Joe Gibbs has been a big Christian, really been devoted to God and everything. But even with that, sometimes people are tested. Was there ever a moment that you felt like Joe Gibbs was about to curse everybody out of the locker room?
And I know we were playing against the Eagles one time.
Yes.
We were losing.
Everybody remembers
and
that.
And he came in and he turned the table over. Look,
the Gatorade
only
table.
thing you have at halftime is oranges and Gatorade.
Right.
And he just threw all that on the floor. And I'm like, and he said, gosh darn it. And I'm like, come on, coach, give me one. Give me one. Never slip.
Well, you can find the full first episode on our team's Facebook page and YouTube channel. Now, still to come here with one more preseason game to go. We find out what still needs to be checked off our preseason to-do list. Welcome back. Let's take one more look at Commanders Chiefs from Saturday afternoon. And the Chiefs' first team offense, surgical. 2 drives, 2 scores, both Patrick Mahomes to Jody Fortson, Logan.
Yeah, and this is what makes Patrick Mahomes so special. The ability to get out of the pocket, extend the drive, and find his big receiver for the touchdown. Great play by him.
To get a touchdown, we go to Taylor Heineke for Washington, trying to make it a game. Zips this one to Cam Sims for a 9-yard TD, Santana.
Yeah, it's great to see Heineke get a second chance of redeeming himself from last week. He didn't get a great outing, but this week he did so.
And then fourth quarter at 17-7 when Jarrett Patterson muscles in from 2 yards out. Comeback effort would fall short, however, as the Commanders fall 24-14. Third down defense continues to be an issue. Here's London Fletcher.
This is the second week in a row where the defense has allowed the opponent's offense to go on long drives to start the ball game. Is it a level of concern? How concerned are you guys defensively about being able to, or not being able to get off the field on third downs?
Right now, we're just trying to learn how to be consistent. Right now, it's just that we're not starting fast, so we're trying to gain that ability to start fast. And once we do that, I feel like it's just a preseason thing. Once the season comes, I feel like we'll get it together and it'll be all right.
Now, if you're not already tuning in, shame on you because it's a really good show. This Saturday, make sure to watch Command Center Game Day Live. We're live on the air starting at 5 p.m. and taking you up to the start of the final preseason game against the Ravens. You can watch on our YouTube channel, Facebook, and on Twitter. Then after the game, do not miss Command Center Postgame Live for reaction, analysis, and interviews with head coach Ron Rivera and the players. You can also find that on YouTube. Take command of your game days. We're now just 3 weeks away from the beginning of the regular season against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And as we go through training training camp, there's always a checklist of things you want to make sure you have locked down before the season begins. Logan, Santana, let's go through your list. Logan, I'll start with you.
Yeah, so the first thing on my list is Jamin Davis's growth. And I think this is something that you feel pretty good about seeing so far in training camp. He's just done a nice job progressing. Looks like a totally different player, much more physical, much more decisive. Love to see that in terms of growth.
Yeah, and I will add to that, I was looking forward to seeing Curtis Samuels healthy. Coming into this year, expecting big things from him last year, didn't know how severe that injury was. Now, clean bill of health, he's been looking excellent in practice and the preseason games.
Now, this third one is the secondary gelling. It's something that I thought was for sure happening, because when you watch practice, they seem to be on the same page. But then you see games like one yesterday, and actually, I didn't think they played too bad, so I'm going to give this one a check mark, but again, it's something I'm going to keep an eye on, especially in the early part of the season.
And I want to get down to the nitty-gritty, talking about Carson Wentz and showing promise. You know, one of the things that we talked about early in this preseason, early in camp, you know, we wasn't sure about what we liked about some of the practices that we saw. We got a chance to speak with Carson. He told us, hey, you know, he's still learning things, but thus far, both preseason games, he showed promise.
Yeah, I think definitely progressing, which is exciting. And this is one that I'm going to put like a half check in here, because I think that they are progressing. They are becoming more consistent when you watch practice, but I want to see them take that next step. Let's see all this promise Carson Wentz brings and all these skill guys. Let's see if they can make that a full-time deal.
Now, since we're going to make it a half check, I'm going to give a half check for here. But don't quote me on this one, because you have talked about these guys gelling. Yes, I have seen these guys play better, but I think some of the things that we saw this preseason is where playing together haven't made them look so well. So I'm still looking forward to these guys showing a little better performance, a better outing, and making some stops.
And this is two different things, gelling and tighter coverage, because this is matching concepts, and this is more communication, which they've done great. And again, you just want to see this be a little bit crisper. And then this is the one that comes out of the game in Kansas City that I don't know if I can quite check off yet. Because if you watch the Carolina game, they were outstanding. But if you watch the game yesterday, a little bit to be desired. And I think that's the thing that I gotta see more of as we move forward. Julie, do you have a checklist for yourself or no?
Yeah, I mean, I look, you guys are the experts, so I will fall in line with everything that you say. That's why we have you here on the show. And training camp, it's not officially over yet. We still have quite a few weeks to be able to kind of fine tune a few things before we do host the Jacksonville Jaguars at FedEx Field. Hopefully the fans are there to see if everything gets checked off. That's going to do it for this Command Center. Thanks for joining us. For Logan Santana, I'm Julie. We'll see you next time.